If you're looking to buy a property which has some sort of a development potential, here's what you need to know. So there's two things first. There's zoning bylaws and then there's OCP. So zoning is what's currently allowed on the property and OCP is what will be allowed in the future. So let's say if we're talking about the city of Vancouver, entire Vancouver, most of it, like maybe 90% is R11 zone now. So in most of Vancouver, as long as it's over 3,000 square foot lot, you are allowed to make a typical duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, of course, depending on how big the lot is. You have to look at the zoning bylaws first. There is no OCP in Vancouver and Burnaby as well. So Burnaby is similar now. It's all R1 zoned. So you are allowed to make a fourplex in pretty much majority of Burnaby, because it's the same exact zoning now, so you don't have to worry about which sort of zoned lot that you need to buy. But in Vancouver, there's some CD zoning that you need to avoid because it's very tricky. You can't really make a lot of stuff whenever it's a CD zoning. If we talk about, let's say, Coquitlam has zoning bylaws. So, and like a typical single family zone would be RS1, and then there's RT1, which is for duplexes or fourplexes. So you have to focus on the zoning bylaws first and look at what exactly is the requirement for that specific lot that you're looking to buy. Let's say in Coquitlam, you're looking to build a fourplex, let's say. So you need to have at least an RT1 zoned lot in Millardville area. So it's very specific. So it needs to be in NAR OCP, and only then you're allowed to build a fourplex. And then there's another requirements. The lot frontage has to be 66 feet and the lot has to be over 8,000 square feet. So there's many requirements. So just because a lot is a certain, let's say, size, let's say an RS1 zoned lot in Coquitlam versus an RT1 zone lot in Coquitlam, it could be like 100 or 200K price difference, just because in the RT1 you're allowed to make a fourplex, and in RS1 you're only allowed to make like a single family house. So similarly, let's say if we talk about Delta. So in Delta, there's RS1 zone lots, and there's RD3, there's RS7, and then there's some CDs or some RS4 zone lots. So Delta OCP says if the lot has at least a 72 to 73 feet frontage and has, let's say, a 7,500 square feet lot size, you're allowed to subdivide the lot. So just because a lot has a wider frontage, again, doesn't necessarily mean you're definitely allowed to subdivide, because there's a lot of other moving parts as well. Because if the frontage is wide enough, but if it's on a very, say, a sort of a pie-shaped lot and the depth is, it's okay, but at the very end, it's a very like a tiny narrow lot, then you won't be allowed to subdivide in Delta, right? In Surrey, let's say there's, now with the new zoning changes, of course, it used to be RF, different zones, but now it's R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. So a typical standard zone in Surrey is R3, but there's different types of OCPs in Surrey. Let's say it's urban, there's suburban. So if, let's say, a lot is 10,000 square feet, but it's in suburban OCP, you're not allowed to do any development there. Of course, you can still build a single family house, of course, but making, let's say, a houseplex or a fourplex in Surrey is not possible if it's a suburban zoned lot. So let's say in Surrey specifically, if you want to build a duplex, pretty much anywhere, as long as, again, the same 3,000 square feet lot, you're allowed to build a duplex, right? But if you want to build a fourplex in Surrey, you have to have either a backlane or the lot has to be a corner lot with at least a 60 feet of frontage. So there's many specifics that you need to look into before buying any lot, because just because the lot size is big enough, again, doesn't mean anything. There could be many different things that could go wrong. It might, let's say in Vancouver, it might be a peat area where you can still make something, but it just for the piling and stuff, it might cost you like $100,000 extra. And in, let's say, Surrey, like let's say near Bridgeview and near the Khalsa school, if the same piling goes there as well, so it's like 50 to 100K extra. So, and you're not allowed to build a houseplex on, most of Surrey, like 90%, you're only allowed to build a duplex. So if you're looking to buy something with a development potential, at least try to look for something which has that sort of a premium. So a premium, let's say in Surrey, again, could be the houseplex with a backlane or a corner lot, or the premium could be within the 800 meters of any SkyTrain station. So first of all, if it's within 800 meters, even if it has a backlane, you still cannot make a houseplex. You're only allowed to make a let's say a mid-level, rise condo building. So, is that a development potential? Yes and no. Because let's say if you're within, let's say 400 meters from any SkyTrain station, right? So you're not allowed to make a fourplex. But if you do a land assembly with maybe like 3 or 4 neighbors, you need around like 20,000 square feet plus like a lot area to make a condo building. So is that a development potential? Again, depends, because you need approval from your neighbors in order to make any apartment building, right? And developers usually will not pay you, let's say, because some people have this misconception that they might get like 1.5 times their BC assessment if a developer ever comes knocking on the door. That does happen, but not all the time, because you probably, you don't want to pay the premium for being close to the, the SkyTrain stations, right? Of course, getting like a 40-50K premium, okay, sure, makes sense. But if you're already paying like 200K in premium compared to like a regular, like a regular single family zoned lot, you will never see the money back, because developers, they have to make money as well, right? So in order to, let's say, make let's say townhouse site, right? Developers nowadays anywhere, it's like 250K per door. That's what the going number is. Let's say in like a regular neighborhood in like Sullivan or like anywhere Surrey, Langley. So it's really hard to make the numbers make sense for a developer. If you're buying, let's say, a 7,000 square foot lot for like 1.5 or 1.6 in Surrey, you will never see that money back. Or unless the market goes up, sure. But so never pay like 50 to maybe 100K max as a premium for a development zoned lot, which again could be like a townhouse zoned or of course houseplex, sure. But for houseplex, you can still get a regular lot with a backlane for like 1.3, 1.4 anywhere in Surrey. Anyway, so it's not that big of a premium. But if it's a condo site, again within the 800 meters, then sure, you can maybe pay like 1.5 max. But it wouldn't make sense to pay like 1.8 or 2 million for like a regular, like a 7,000 square foot lot, right? So there's a lot of moving parts. So make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, because again, there's a lot of things that could go wrong just because it seems like, or even maybe the listing agent has said, it has a development potential, doesn't really mean it actually does, because there's a lot of things that, that you need to look for whenever you're buying something for a future development. My name is Khush Khosa. Please give me a call at 778-697-6477 if you're looking for any development property anywhere from Vancouver to Surrey, Langley, all the way up to Chilliwack, and I'll be really happy to help you. Have a good day. Bye.